YouTube has been around for a long time, and there have been a lot of creators on the platform since it came out. But one creator that stood out as the YouTube manipulator is Felix Arvid Ulf Kjellberg, or better known as PewDiePie. Felix was born on the 24th of October 1989 in Gothenburg, Sweden. Growing up, Felix was interested in art, drawing video game characters such as Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog. He would also play a lot of games on his Super Nintendo, like Star Fox and Donkey Kong Country 2. Did these conquests before the allegations though. During all of high school, he would skip classes to go to an internet cafe and play games with his friends, and later on buy a computer to sell art through his grandmother's artwork gallery. In 2008, Felix graduated from Göteborgs Högskola High School and then went on to pursue a degree in industrial engineering at Chalmers University of Technology. Now, just a little fun fact, just like a really big cut in here. I actually went to this university like 3 months ago. We actually visited the school and we got a tour of it, and it looked pretty cool. So I actually didn't know that PewDiePie went here. Anyways, although he had gotten into such a good university, he sadly left it in 2011 because he simply lost interest in his studies and his goal. Around this time, Felix found Adobe Photoshop very fun to use, making him want to work on photo manipulation art using the Adobe software rather than going to school. Which is exactly what he did, obviously, following his passion instead of university. Eventually, Felix started joining tons and tons of contests, to the point where he almost earned an apprenticeship at a prominent Scandinavian advertising agency. But after sadly not reaching that goal, he slowly found his passion for making YouTube videos. And after saving up for a good computer for a while, he finally got one by selling limited edition prints of his Photoshop images. And here comes the start of the iconic PewDiePie we know today. Felix started his YouTube channel April 29th, 2010, following him leaving university to pursue his real goals. Now, obviously, his parents weren't much of a support for him, so he had to fund his early videos by working as a harbor captain and selling Photoshop prints, while also working at a hot dog stand earning minimum wage. While everything looked tough for Felix, he still pushed through, focusing on video game commentaries. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, by the way. Mostly horror and action video games. He did also play games like Minecraft, which is a classic game, and Call of Duty, but mostly became recognized when he did Let's Plays with the games Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and The Last of Us. Now at first, just like any other creator, Felix did feel kind of shy when speaking in front of a camera or in front of a microphone, which any human being would feel. But starting in September 2011, he began posting weekly vlogs under a small series titled Fridays with PewDiePie. It was like a mental step away from only playing video games, so he could show more of himself than he usually would. During this series, he would complete viewers' requests to make it more fun and more interactive between him and his audience. By December 2011, Felix's channel had around 60,000 subscribers. And in 2012, he rapidly increased it to 700,000 subscribers, which was probably the biggest jump I've ever seen. Then just a couple of months later, he hit the iconic 1 million subscribers. Felix was thriving at this point. And just like Ray William Johnson, Felix signed with Maker Studios. Felix also signed with Machinima, which were kind of a rival to Maker Studios, but after having some problems with them, he hired a lawyer and freed himself from their contract. Now, we thought PewDiePie had enough fame at this point, but by 2013, he was seen everywhere on YouTube, while also reaching 5 million subscribers, making a really big jump again, and becoming 5 times bigger than before. And obviously, it just doesn't stop there because it's PewDiePie. Because in April that same year, he reached 6 million subscribers and got featured in the New York Times, and also won 2 awards at the StarCount Social Awards, Swedish Social Star and Most Popular Social Show. As the growth continued, Felix's channel became the most viewed channel on YouTube, with 7 billion views. At this point, we see that Felix wasn't only growing on YouTube, but instead becoming YouTube itself, just like how Mr. Beast is the face of YouTube today. Around 2015, it was time for a change. Felix went from Let's Plays to more experiments, challenges, and memes. And the reason he shifted his content was simply because he was just not having as much fun anymore as he used to, which is completely normal as a content creator. While doing this, Felix made a video about the Disney film Frozen. And since he apparently was talking bad about it, the CEO of Disney himself was coping so hard he had to be mad, which put Felix's deal with Maker Studios at a risk. But towards the end of the year, it seemed like his change was working, because he was the first channel ever to reach 10 billion views on YouTube. Later in that same month, Felix announced that he was working on a YouTube series titled Scare PewDiePie, which later got released in February the next year. In January 2016, Felix made a partnership with Maker Studios to produce Revel Mode, which was sort of a sub-network of Maker. Obviously, Felix wasn't alone in this, because there were 8 other creators in it, like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier. Throughout 2016, a sudden change appeared with Felix's style, as he changed his humor over time, going into more of a dry type of humor. This was apparently hard for younger viewers to understand since they only knew the other version of him. Now obviously this wasn't necessarily a bad change, since he realized that he had said some very crazy things in past videos. You might also realize that there might have been controversies I've missed or just haven't spoke about. I just want you to know that I'm well aware of those controversies, but since this video is about how he exploded on YouTube, I'm not gonna bring a lot of those up. On December 8th, 2016, Felix reached 50 million subscribers. That was probably the craziest jump ever. Now, I couldn't find anything in between, so that is why we jumped straight to 50 million, being the first YouTuber in the history of the platform to reach that amount. As Felix was going to delete his channel after some controversy with YouTube and experiencing a lot of problems with them, he got sent a custom-made play button for his achievements, helping him decide to stay and make videos. But later on, we were also told that it was all a big stunt for his series, Scare PewDiePie, basically being the early Marlin and fooling all of us for 7 days. Now here's the part where Felix, or PewDiePie, becomes a bit dark with his internet personality, because in January 2017, he posted a video where he featured 2 paid people on Fiverr who were asked to hold a sign up that said "Death to all Jews." And when he got called out for it, he said that it was to show how crazy the world truly is. And following that month, the Wall Street Journal published an article saying that he had used that type of language multiple times before in his videos. As you could have guessed, he obviously wasn't as loved by the media after receiving a crazy amount of hate. Now this eventually led to Maker Studios cutting ties with Felix and Google cancelling the second season of Scare PewDiePie. And it doesn't stop there, because with that came even more problems, where Felix stated that the Wall Street Journal was portraying him as a Nazi or neo-Nazi, which a lot of people thought he was at that point. Now, obviously, the Wall Street Journal didn't want to let that slide, which led to more crazy talk that I can't really bring up here because it's a lot more deep than you would think. Moving forward to some better parts of his career, in 2018, Felix decided to start his very own series again, named Pew News, where he basically covered news while in character, often as fictional characters named after CNN hosts. In May, Felix attracted yet another controversy because he was talking bad about female streamers while reacting to a female streamer compilation on one of his videos. Now, a female streamer, Alinity, came out and copyright claimed Felix's video, but that claim was later removed by Collab DRM, which is a company that strikes down videos on behalf of creators. And Alinity later said that she did what she did because the way she was seeing it, it looked like Felix was downgrading women in the content creation space with his comments. And this also just led that Alinity never accepted Felix's apology after that. And obviously it's Felix, it's PewDiePie. Because in July, Felix got back into controversy again by joking about a singer's addiction, which she later removed when she was hospitalized after suffering an overdose. Now moving forward, Felix got surpassed in terms of subscribers by the second largest channel today, which is T-Series, leading him to make a diss track against T-Series on October 5th, 2018, titled Bitch Lasagna. And as we know today, this video ended up being Felix's most viewed video ever, sitting at an unstoppable 300 million views. Crazy number. In early June 2019, Felix uploaded a video on YouTube that was sponsored by the social media application Nimses. And because Felix was him at the time, the video blew the app up. But controversy struck once again when Nimses' privacy features and settings made Felix's fans suspicious, leading everyone to think that Felix was promoting a privacy-invasive app, with some fans suspecting the app of being a pyramid scheme due to a referral program in the app that offered more in-application currency. When this came out, the head of communications and marketing of Nimses released a blog post denying the allegations, and later on, Felix himself also denied the allegations by dismissing them as rumors. Even through all of Felix's troubles and controversies, he still asserted his dominance when he started playing Minecraft again, making a Minecraft series and playing other games that led him all the way up to the big hundo, 100 million subscribers. That is insane. And this is when he finally got the red diamond play button from YouTube. From this point on, Felix started feeling a sense of being retired. He didn't want to play the game of YouTube anymore. So he put down his sword and decided to step down from YouTube. Kind of. Because every now and then, he posts vlogs about him and his life. Which is not something we see too often, but sometimes. In 2022, he moved to Japan with his wife Marzia. And also had a kid, Bjorn. Or well, in Swedish, it would be Björn. And in 2023, Felix officially got surpassed by the king of YouTube today, Mr. Beast. To many, he was a figure, and to many, he was an enemy. But PewDiePie rose with YouTube, challenged it, surpassed its limits, and walked away once he no longer needed it. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment about your opinions around PewDiePie, and hopefully in the future, I'll make more videos like this. Have a good one. Peace.